Welcome to the Blackskins podcast. It's Truth Thursday, September 11th, 2025. 24 years ago today, I could have been on my way to the World Trade Center. Because 24 years and a day ago, on September 10th, 2001, I got a phone call. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm working at the time at Burns & Rowe. I'm a CAD technician working on Port Authority work in New York City schools, health and safety projects, doing lead abatement designs for Burns & Rowe engineering team. Working with the electrical department because we're putting in CCTV wiring and we're also putting in security checkpoints at the 3 area airports. And the area airports where I was at that time was Newark International, JFK, and LaGuardia Airport. I was the designer for the CCTV new security checkpoint improvements. When I was doing that project, I enjoyed it. I realized that it was doing something that could help the whole country. This was 3 of the biggest airports the Port Authority owned. And they needed our help to design their upgrades for the future. So I'll never forget that I was doing this work, and then the Port Authority wanted me to work with them directly instead of working with their subcontractor engineering firms. The Port Authority themselves was like, come on in, you can work directly with the port. So they had a headhunter that was trying to get me directly in their department. And I'll never forget, September 10th, they called me and they're like, we almost got everything arranged for you to get your interview tomorrow, but we're going to do it later on in the week. And I remember talking to him and looking forward to the interview coming. And I'll never forget, the next day I go to work. I go downstairs, get me a muffin, toasted corn muffin with butter. And they put I had some strawberry jelly I would always get on my muffin. I come upstairs, ready to start the day. And typically everybody would be in a cubicle. Everybody had their own little cubicle. And I come upstairs and everybody's out their cubicle. Everybody's standing up. I'm like, everybody see me coming in there with my muffin. I'm like, what is going on, man? You know, typically I'm able to just kind of tiptoe in there with my muffin. You know, I come in, I ain't early, so going to go get my muffin. I was supposed to do that before I clocked in, but they, either or. This day, everybody's on the floor looking at me coming in with my muffin. I'm like, man, what's going on? Ain't nobody working in a sweatshop? That was just very odd to me. And my man Tone, I never forget, Tone came on, was like, yo, the plane just hit the World Trade Center. I said, what? I literally just been there. You gotta understand, that weekend, I walked all around New York City, went to the World Trade Center. I mean, I'm thinking I'm gonna be working there pretty soon, so I'm checking out the terrain, seeing the territory. Then all of a sudden now, this week, I'm looking and I'm seeing that the tower has been hit by a plane. And as I keep looking, now towers is collapsing and second planes is hitting. And this was the craziest part. So I had a friend that worked in Jersey City. So I'm sitting there. And back then, MSNBC was MSN.com. Was how you got your news back then. There weren't a whole lot of sources back in 2001 on the website too. MSN.com was the news. So I put it on there. I'm checking out the news. And one of my boys that had an office in Jersey City, he called me. In his office, you could hear it was after the first plane hit. His office in the uproar. He like, man, we seen the plane, and he was kind of calm. He was excited because, of course, they was there. They could see the smoke. They looking at the World Trade. They looking at the towers collapse. So I'll never forget. We on the phone, and it got real quiet because he could see the second plane coming in, and I never forget his excitement and fear when that second plane hit. Because he was looking at, I'm on the phone, just in disbelief. I'm like, I was just there this weekend. I'm supposed to be there right now in that other building. So then, the craziest part is finding out that when the second plane went in, pretty much they went right in the Port Authority's offices. I could have been there sitting there waiting for an interview. And I met one guy who survived from that office. He came and took my desk from Burns and Rowe, because once Burns and Rowe opportunity wasn't growing me, then after 9/11, I realized that somebody was going to get all the Port Authority's work. And I was right. The Louis Burger Group got all Port Authority's work. So the Louis Burger Group hired me directly. And that was how I was able to still do the Port Authority's work without actually working through the Port Authority. And when the Port Authority had to relocate from their evaporated offices at World Trade, that they had to move to Gateway Newark. And their Gateway Newark moved from multiple floors within the Gateway building. I knew about directly because I happened to be on a design team that laid their offices out and knew what departments was there. And the Port Authority offices that were designed and made within the Gateway building in Newark, I had the opportunity to be part of the design team. So it was funny how the Port Authority worked, regardless of me working directly with the Port Authority. Every group I worked with, Burns and Rowe, the Louis Burger Group, all of them were big, major contractors for the Port Authority's work. So I've always done Port Authority work indirectly. Now, I'm going to Go Green is a port certified firm myself. Have we gotten a job directly with the port yet? No. But that is something I'm definitely looking forward to embarking upon. I could have been there 9/11. I wasn't. The Creator saved me and gave me a new opportunity. And now I am grateful that it's 24 years later and I can look at the television and I can know that we did have the experience that day. We was there. I never forget, after the second plane hit, they just told us to go home. And that was like 9:30. I remember getting back down to the hood around 10:30. And I got to the hood and I started walking downtown Newark. Because I was like, from downtown Newark, you can see New York City. And what I did is I went from Newark, I went downtown Newark, got on the path, went to Jersey City. And from Jersey City, I went all the way to the entrance of the Holland Tunnel station. Walking that day. And I never forget, I'm in Jersey City when the first trains turned on coming back to Newark. And I never forget, this guy came in on the train. He was covered in ashes and soot. And he was a lawyer. And I just asked him how he was. He said, I done had better days. And the thing that was New Yorkish the most is he said, I gotta go to work tomorrow.